Some say, without knowing their history, humans are not more than animals. It's the awareness of our history that enables us to critical thinking and an understanding of the world around us. Dealing with the past, however, isn't always easy. Reliable information, others simply say, the truth is needed to avoid misconceptions and confusion. Regarding the Khmer Rouge regime, there are often different ideas about what the historic truth is. Mr. Henri Locard, an expert on modern Cambodian history, talks to Ms. Polyngham about how to assert the credibility of information in the historic record.
When it comes to Khmer regimes, facts and figures seem to close together. How can we judge the information from the sources to be accurate?
Right. You can judge that it is accurate, according to me, according to two criteria. One, that I have other sources that say the same thing. There's need to have three sources, not just one. Right. So you check and you double check. One. So if other people tell you about the same thing, or other sources tell you the same thing, so you probably think that is right, that fact is correct. One. Two, events happen with it a certain logical framework, a general framework. So your evidence must fit within a general framework.
So can you sum up those information be encouraged?
Right, by being always very careful, by being wise, being experienced, by being knowing, yes, this person, no source is 100% of the truth. Each source is part of the truth, part of some form of manipulation, deliberate or not deliberate. People are not deliberately lying.
As our interviewee is a former Khmer Rouge comrade or personnel, he or she might not willing to reveal the truth, or something bad will happen to them. Do we have any technique to urge them to speak the truth?
Yes. First of all, you tell them, I'm not the police, I'm not connected with the Khmer Rouge tribunal. I have not come here to investigate you and arrest you. One. You just say, I'm a researcher, I'm interested in history. One. Two, I'm not interested in what you did, but I'm interested in knowing what you saw around you. Because we cannot expect them to say the truth about their own crimes. They will not tell you, I killed so many people and I enjoy doing it. Right, they will never do that. But they can speak, reveal many interesting facts of the things that happened around them. Now for the top leadership, of course, they're very difficult to approach because they are more clever and they will get around and then say, well, I remember nothing, I did nothing, I knew nothing. One good way of approach is talking about their education and their childhood, because everybody is always very fond of talking about the childhood.
Talking about our history, after years that we neglect this kinds of history, and today there seems a big gap of knowledge about that regime. Speaking from your positions as the university professor, how can we, the younger Cambodian, close this gap?
All right. Well, I think the gap can be closed in a number of ways. The main one has been the tribunal. I think the main result of the Khmer Rouge tribunal, the extraordinary chambers in the court of Cambodia, has been to broadcast information about democratic Cambodia through the television channel, through the newspapers, and throughout Cambodia. So the people will know much more about what happens, not only the younger generations, but also the older generations. The older generation, they know what happened in their Sahangor, in their collective, in the people's commune, but they don't know what happened in the rest of the country, right? So they know much more. And also there's been much more intergenerational debate. In other words, your generation can talk about democratic Cambodia with your parents or your grandparents.
In an attempt to close this gap, what would you say it is the biggest and common misconception about the regime?
Well, the big misconception was, of course, first developed by the Khmer Rouge themselves. They said we did not do the killing, it was the American bombing, and it was the Vietnamese after they invaded Cambodia. You know, that's what Nuon Chea says. That's the first big misconception. What people have to realize that it was the Khmers who killed the Khmers. That's one thing. The other thing is that the Khmer Rouge history is something completely outside Cambodian history. That Cambodia was a democracy before and that it has become a democracy after.
Thank you, Mr. Locard, for joining us.